Today on the beginner series, you've just taken your new RC car out to run and it's now dirty. How do you clean it? Today I show you how I clean my rigs and keep everything running great. Hey guys, Rich here from the RCNetwork.com and welcome to another episode of the beginner series. Now we've just taken out the Team Associated ProRally for a spin and it's a little bit dirty now, so it's time to clean this thing up. As with most things in life, a clean item is going to perform better. It's just a proven fact. If you look at any of the pros vehicles, they are super immaculate, and that's for a reason. It'll end up giving a little bit more longevity to their driveline and suspension components, and also perform better in the long run. So as you can see here, especially around the shocks and some of the electronic components, also some of the driveline components, there's just been a buildup of a lot of dirt and grime just from one run. This literally has one battery pack through it on the ProRally, and now it's time to clean it up. So I'm going to show you a few things in this episode on how I clean my rigs here at the RC Network. It's a quick process. A lot of people give a lot of comments on how clean my rigs are, and this is how I do it. So a few things that you'll need to get your RC car all cleaned up and as good looking as some of mine here at the RC Network. You'll need a homeowner's grade air compressor. Now, if you don't happen to have one, you can borrow one from a friend. They're easily available out there, and a lot of people do have them. Next thing you'll need is a standard quality paintbrush, a bristle brush, so not a foam brush. You'll need something to actually get into some of the crevices and get that dirt off of your car. Next thing, and the final step, is just a simple degreaser type of solution like 409 or Windex without ammonia. Good, easy items that are around the house that you can just easily towel off the larger items like bodies, tires, and the underneath of the chassis. Lastly, what makes it all easy together is a simple microfiber cloth. These things are sold in sometimes 10 or 20 packs for a very small fee. They last a long time, they can be washed, and I use these over and over here at the RC Network. So step one, I like to go ahead and remove the body. We'll wash that down a little bit later. I also like to remove all of the wheels and tires. I like to get into those bearing areas and really get it all cleaned up. Plus, I like to store all of my vehicles without the wheels or tires on. We have some of the major components like the tires and wheels and body off of it, a lot easier to handle, and let's go ahead and take it over to the air compressor. All right, so I'm over here by my air compressor station. I've got it plugged in and set to about 120 PSI. Right around 100 PSI will last you the length that you'll need. And of course, you don't need this size of air compressor. You can even have the little $99 pancake compressor that you can find at most home improvement warehouses. And I also have attached just this little blow off tool. This is just a few bucks, and I have it quick connected into my rubber hoses just throughout the shop. Helps blow things off, and it's easy to maneuver, especially when cleaning off your RC vehicles. So now we're ready to go ahead and start blowing off the chassis. It's a pretty easy process. I like to start from the front, work myself to the back on one side, flip it around, and do the same thing. At that point, flip it over, go ahead and inspect the bottom side of the chassis, and once you think that you've got most of the dirt off, it's time to get the paintbrush out and get into the fine nooks and crannies. So this will be a little bit loud, so you guys get to listen to a little bit of music now. Alright, so there's a look at the completed chassis. It just took less than a minute to pretty much blow this thing off, and we've got most of the dirt off. Now you can do like a fine inspection and really start looking into like the drivetrain, especially the shocks here. You can see a little bit of residue still left up here on the shocks. That's okay, that'll take care of on the paintbrush, but let's go ahead and give it a quick little blow here with the air compressor. There we go. That looks good. Let's go ahead and take it over to the workbench. So the chassis is now blown down with the air compressor. It's time to go ahead and grab the bristle brush. Now you can use a used one. You can buy one. I like the natural bristles a little bit better than the nylon. These seem to have a little bit more grit to them and can really get into some of those little crevices on our RC cars. Now, the areas you want to definitely pay attention to is any of the suspension components and also the drivetrain components where you might find bearings and that type of stuff. You can also kind of go all into the little nooks and crannies of the chassis and really get any of that hard to get dirt out. So let's go ahead and start doing that, and you'll start to see I cleaned off my work surface here so it's perfectly white, and you're going to definitely start to see some dirt fall onto that surface as I start going through this and getting all of the little nooks and crannies that we missed with the air compressor. Sometimes you just need that little extra touch to really get in there and get some of that dirt off. Now with that, this will keep your RC car a little bit better maintained and also longer longevity on some of the parts. So a little bit less replacement that you'll have to do, and in the end, your car will last a long time. So I just went ahead and gave it a once over with my bristle brush. It cut off quite a bit of dirt, as you can see there. And this was everything that was left over after the air compressor. So not only an air compressor can get all the dirt off, little fine tuning with the bristle brush and you'll be set to go. Now the last step in cleaning the chassis is just hitting it with a good degreaser. Now I never like to spray directly onto the chassis. I like to take a good microfiber cloth. These last forever, especially if you take care of them and you wash them. Simply just spray the degreaser or Windex or whatever you have around the house that's ammonia free, and go ahead and spray just a little bit onto the microfiber cloth and then just give it a quick wipe down. This will get, you know, your plastics and everything else looking almost as good as new, and in the long run will keep your RC car looking great. So the last step here is on the body. I already gave it a quick blowdown on the air compressor. Now it's time to just kind of wipe off the excess and maybe some things that have just gathered over the one time that I've ran this now. So gonna go and give it a quick spray with the degreaser and just give it a quick wipe down just to get all that little excess stuff off the body, especially in the lighter areas like the yellow right here. You can really see it on the fender wells and the fenders right there. Give this a quick wipe down on the wing, over the hood, and that's a wrap. Well guys, that is a quick way how I keep all of my vehicles looking great here at the RC Network. The Team Associated ProRally is no exception. This thing looks great. It'll continue to perform, and stay tuned for the next episode of the Beginner Series. Well guys, that is it for now. If you have any comments or questions about these items, please feel free to post it on down below. And as always, thumbs up and subscribe. That's it for now guys.